more remains, we have to have a special election. Now, I don't, special elections cost money, which is unfortunate. That's why I always hope that people run when these seats are up. But nevertheless, that's what our charter says, so we have to have a special election. In the December meeting, we will have details about it. I will speak with the clerk. We'll get details as far as exactly what day the special election will be. She's going to contact the Miami-Dade Election Department, exactly when the qualification will open up and things like that. We're going to get all those dates. So hopefully by December's meeting, which is December 15th, Madam Manager, is that December meeting, right? December 15th? December 15th, we'll have all the details about the special election. I know a lot of people within the community are contacting the clerk and contacting myself and probably Councilperson Carrell and Councilperson Urban saying, like, what's up with the special election? What are you guys going to do about the 2 open seats? So we have to have a special election. Okay? And we'll get those dates and all those details hopefully by December. All right, so that's special election. Are there any questions from the audience about the special election, open seats, the process? You guys good? All right. Seeing none. Number 3 is ethics training. I just put this on here, you guys, because every time we have an election, we do have to go through ethics training. Remember, you have to go through the 6 hours, not just the 4 hours. A lot of times people go through the 4 hours and then they walk out, but you need the 6 hours, the full 6 hours. I'm sure the clerk will be getting in touch with us sooner or later. I'm sure they'll have ethics training, hopefully, through Zoom and stuff like that. So, because before we used to have to drive all over the county to these heavy places, so now we just do it through Zoom. It's much easier and saves gas and money and time and things like that. So that's how it goes. Does anybody have any questions about the ethics training? Anybody know? All right, moving right along. Look at this. All right, agenda item H4. Okay, so this right here is hybrid meeting model. All right, you guys. So you guys know we're dealing with COVID and things right now. This is our first in-person meeting back. Okay, this is our first in-person meeting back. With the way, and your first ever. That's right. That's right. You got sworn in over Zoom. Wow, COVID, guys, COVID. So this is our first in-person meeting back now. In my humble opinion, with the COVID numbers going up, how they're going up, I mean, I really don't understand how the governor hasn't put us back to strictly virtual. I don't understand why we would have to be here tonight. But it is what it is. We got to follow the laws, you guys. Being that's the case, what I'm looking to do is, and the reason why I put this on the agenda is because I want to look to do a hybrid meeting model, whereas we would have to be here until, hopefully Governor DeSantis changes it and we all go back to Zoom. But until then, we could be here, but Full Moon, the company that we use for our meetings, they will be able to set up a hybrid model to where the residents will be able to participate through Zoom, like if we were on Zoom, but we're not. So it would be 2 camera people will be here instead of just one, and one will be doing the regular, and the other will be doing through the Zoom and things like that. So it will be fully interactive. Now, I was doing some research, so I went and Full Moon, I reached out to them, they got back to me right away, which I appreciate. And so I asked them, I said, you guys, send me the meeting that we're having tonight, and send me the hybrid meeting model, which would be just us here and everybody else would be able to participate through Zoom, and send me the price difference. And they did that, they sent that to me today. So. And if you look at it, option A is the in-person, option B is the live stream package, which would be through the Zoom. There's a $255 difference. I'm going to give one to the manager also. I don't know if this would be something that this would be something by the next meeting we would still have to meet here. We should highly consider either passing or not passing it tonight, so that it could be set up by next meeting if we do want our residents to be interactive, fully interactive. If we do have the option that we could pass it tonight, if we feel like we want to pass it tonight, and then if Governor DeSantis, because of the COVID numbers, puts us back on Zoom, then it really doesn't matter if we pass, but it wouldn't be like really into effect to go back to the Zoom calls, the Zoom numbers that we had before. But I'm open up to you guys.
So I'm thinking that that for general council meetings, live stream is not a bad way to go. For committee meetings, we'll still have videotape. Is that correct? So, I think over the next 2 years it'll be important to become better at reminding residents that they can find all these meetings on the website. I think we have a lot of resources on the website, and people already can go through and look at almost any meeting, at their leisure. And so for committee meetings, I don't think that a live stream would be necessary at all, as long as we're doing our job and reminding the residents that the videos are there, which we should be doing regardless of what we do. And then for general council meetings, certainly, I would think that would be logical. I'm not going to try and predict what Governor DeSantis is going to do. I do agree that. But initially, that's what I'm thinking. I would think that at the very next opportunity, which sounds like, as far as an A&F committee meeting, is likely January. I know it's a nominal amount, but then extend it out over the 12, because if it's general council, that's 12 times a year. It's not going to be 6 for the committee meeting. And I know it's a nominal amount, but we still want to talk to the CFO about, where we stand on that in terms of we'll have to look at the budget again to decide that. But ultimately, I think it's obviously an ideal situation to make sure you have as many residents participating as meaningfully as possible.
Especially with our meetings, so this is a 2 hours.
Right.
$630. So our meetings are usually 5 hours and up.
They won't be anymore.
And then we say we don't like Zoom, but it took me a lot longer to get ready tonight than I thought it was going to. I haven't done that in a while, and I know this is all you get, right? And so, but I think that a lot of residents were, honestly excited about the prospect of being able to be, at home attending to things and still being able to, participate. So I think it's important to try and figure out if we can do this. I think even though it's small numbers, we still need to take a real look at what happens to the budget. And then I think it's a great idea for general council meetings, and it's just not necessary for committee meetings.
All right. Yes, I appreciate that, Councilperson. Vice Mayor let me say also that we can choose. So it's not like if we pass this tonight for the hybrid meeting model, not be a chance to speak in the second. It's like if we pass this tonight for the hybrid meeting model, that we're saying that every meeting is going to be a hybrid meeting model. We can pick and choose. Full Moon, they were speaking to me earlier. Look at me shaking his head up and down. They were speaking to me earlier, and they were like, "Hey, do you guys want to do the Zoom today?" I was on the email with them going back and forth. They sent me this, and all of that. And even right before we started, an hour before we started, I've been here since like 4:30. I mean, it's 4:30. I was just trying to do things and set things up. Right before we started, like an hour before we started, he said, "Hey," he said, "You sure you guys don't want to do the Zoom?" And I told him, I said, "Look," I said, "I'm not a dictator. I said, I'm not going to make these decisions without the council." I said, "That's why I put it on this." So I said, "If we pass it tonight," that's what I told him. "If we pass it tonight," I said, "next meeting I'll get in touch with you. We can do it for next meeting." So if we ever feel like, like you said, for committee meetings, if we ever feel like we don't want to do it, we don't want to spend that extra money or whatever it is, we don't have to. I can find a little money for certain, So, but at least I would think at least you have that option. If we pass tonight, we have that option. Because I wouldn't want to do it without, you guys joining in on it. I wouldn't do it by myself. I wouldn't make the decision by myself. It's up to the three of us. Councilperson Gurley, you?
Well, yeah, there's, in the ideal of having it, just the regular council meetings is better than having every single, every committee meeting and yeah. So,
Anybody from the audience, before I ask for a motion in a second, we get a roll call vote, Madam Clerk. Anybody from the audience, have anything they want to say? You guys come to the podium. Say your name and address for the record. I see my sustainability people right here represented.
That's right, in the house.
That's right.
I am Maribel Crusoe, 157 Northwest 88th Street. I don't have a problem with your live stream provided that sound works. Because I was trying to watch on Facebook and YouTube before I came here, and there was no sound. So I think as long as we have everything in the platform, and the other question would be, who is monitoring the comments on the platform, on the Facebook platform? Because there is an availability to do that. That would be another question to bring up. How do those comments get addressed on the platform? So if you don't want to do the Zoom, how do residents contact and ask you questions and get feedback on the YouTube and on the Facebook?
Go ahead.
we'll be here, right? So it's
Yeah, okay, so for the Zoom, I see what she's asking. For the Zoom, it's interactive, so it's live interactive.
Right.
What other municipalities do, I know, is that, see, this kind of, it's not the most ideal thing, but what other municipalities do, and I think Clerk Lattimore will be able to, know about this a little bit more, but they'll say, okay, by 6 o'clock p.m., everybody has to have their questions into the clerk about like the agenda. But the problem is that a lot of questions pop up in your mind while you're listening to a speaker.
Exactly.
And that's the problem with having it in earlier. I was speaking to the mayor of Opelika recently, because of the Miami-Dade League of Cities or whatever, we're doing a mayor's coalition thing. And he was saying that that's what they do. He was saying they have the hybrid model. And I was actually on the phone with him for about 2 hours, giving like a lot of the like little details. And then the rest of the details were filled into me today and yesterday from Full Moon, because they do it for Miami Springs and Indian Creek.
Southwest Ranches. Southwest Ranches.
Southwest Ranches. And so that's how they do it. They just say by a certain, before the meeting starts, everybody has to have their questions to the clerk. And we get an agenda item. The clerk will say, okay, this resident had this question, this resident had this question. But like I said, a lot of questions probably to your mind in real time. So I don't know what we could be able to do with the people who weren't on Zoom.
Okay, might I suggest something, I don't know, up in the air, because I'm a creative person, so just things come to my mind, like you said. And I appreciate that as a resident, you created the good and welfare after each resolution. I was there when you thought it in and suggested it, and I've appreciated it coming to the meetings and being able to have that, because it does come to your mind. Is there a way of maybe inviting a resident to come and maybe monitor it live, and then they have a part when good and welfare comes, and these can maybe be comments that are read out? It's an idea that's coming to my brain, like a telethon or something.
I mean, that's not a bad idea. I mean, I don't
And that
know.
would get more residents active in
Yeah.
participating, because they say, oh no, I'm going to be at the council meeting, why do I need to come?
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I mean, we just have to, Mr. Attorney, when it comes to a resident, not a government official, monitoring comments that are for a government, a resident monitoring private comments, well, not private, but public comments, but they're geared toward a government, can a resident have that type of oversight over other people's comments?
Well, yes, but the thing would be, you have to be independent. I mean, you could not have a resident doing that and say, well, I'm only going to read the comments that I agree with. Okay, but if you wanted to have somebody just read all of them, assuming none of them went on, page after page after page, that's a way you can set it up, that would work. I think the technical issues would probably be more of a problem than the legal issues. But legally, yeah, as long as it was done in an even-handed way, the fact that whether you have a court read them or you have residents read them, should be a legal law.
I have quite good, to the technical aspect. Some of you guys know me, I compare everything to a bar or a restaurant. That's all I know, I guess. I know other things, but still. You know, when I was a restaurant manager in a luxury property, in a hotel, 5 apartments, we were food and beverage. I was training staff, and I would have to tell them, I'd say, look, we are in the business of luxury, but we are not in the business of fantasy. And so at some point, there is a time where you have to tell the clientele no. And so certainly in fine dining, that is taking your career into your own hands sometimes when you're telling somebody no, depending on who it is. But, you know, as I think about this, the only way I see it working technically is that you have from the beginning, you have essentially a new appointed position for those meetings. It's not something I think you could realistically put in the lap of a clerk. And while you might have, say, a board of residents, because you might need to have various acknowledged residents who've gone through a vetting process, right? And then you essentially create that board so you have a pool of people to choose from depending on schedules, availability, and the like. At a certain point, you know, the concept that you're going to have real-time immediate access from wherever you choose to be, at some point that becomes an unrealistic expectation. And so there's going to have to be some manner of protocol where certain comments would not qualify as being able to be read into the public record because of any number of offenses, right? You know, minor and large. And so somebody's going to have to make decisions about what's going to get read. So you can't also make the blanket statement, well, we'll just read everything, because just wait until you have a comment come across that cannot be read. So you're immediately into an impasse there. So you know, Zoom is manageable when we're fully virtual because we're all there looking at the same thing. But I remember from the meetings we had discussing what the protocols are going to be when we first went virtual was, what are we going to do about the chat box? And I believe the answer was, we turn it off, right? And so in this aspect, we may not have that option if it's a live feed through a platform that, you know, that turning the chat off just isn't possible. So at that point, my thinking is, well, you just don't acknowledge those comments, to be perfectly honest, at least not in the public record of the meeting. So there has to be, I agree, some manner of system. So let's say we do the thing where, you know, by 6 p.m. all questions must be submitted to the clerk. Well, again, we're going to have to make sure that we have everything in place to do it the same way every time, week in, week out, month in, month out, so that there is a realistic expectation that the residents know, okay, I can do this and my question will be heard. Because if we get into a situation where we haven't figured it out from the beginning and then we're having to change things, then drama is going to sink in instead of becoming productive, which I think is the goal. And so I also think, you know, I love the idea that we're going to have so much commentary and participation that we're going to have to figure out how to channel it all. I love that idea. But you know, in the meantime, I think that you know, almost to your point, Mayor Nickerson, what you're saying earlier tonight, you know, we don't necessarily need to reinvent wheels here. And so as far as the comments go, I think if we could establish a simplistic kind of method of announcing to the residents that they can consistently rely on being able to follow that, you know, set of simple steps, maybe 3 or 4 steps at the most, and they can accomplish that on a regular basis and know that they can do that, and those questions show up, I think would be ideal over trying to figure out how to do real-time Star Trek activities. So,
No, I hear you.
there you go. That's all
I mean, all we have to do, you guys, as far as, you know, and I agree with you, everything you said, Vice Mayor. all we have to do to right now, you guys, is just pass the hybrid meeting model so that we have the option. That's all we need to do. We just need to pass the hybrid meeting model, or not pass it, so that we have the option, and then all those other questions, we can start to, work on those, but we have to at least have that model in place first to even start opening ourselves to the other questions. Is there anybody else in the audience that has any more comments, questions about the hybrid meeting model? All right, I'll take it. No,
I'm gonna take a shot at this, and the attorney may, let me know how I do here. All right, I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion.
you got it, man.
I'll make a motion, to adopt, I'll make a motion that contingent upon Governor DeSantis allowing in-person meetings to continue, that we adopt a hybrid meeting model for general council meetings only, wherein, we are able to incorporate, the live stream as outlined as option B from the invoice presented by Full Moon.
Oh my Lord, you are wonderful. That was perfect.
Okay.
Do we have a second to that motion?
I'll second the motion.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. Now please have a roll call.
Councilman Correa,
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. The next item, you guys, is H5. This is the village clerk positions and applications. So right here, I know we got all this in email. I'm just gonna put this, give to you guys in paper form. So we've got so far for our permanent village clerk position about, Madam Clerk, because the first time, Madam Clerk, it was like, how many were it? It was 16 the first time, and you said 3 more after that. So about 19, 20, I guess, in total. This is what because part of the problem is Madam Clerk is funny. Part of the problem is this. Remember when we passed the interim contract with Madam Clerk? Remember we put 120 days? I don't want that to run out on us, because her contract for interim clerk is 120 days, and I believe she started in September. Okay, so exactly. So what I'm thinking about, and the reason why I gave you guys the package, so we really need to go through them, you guys, and I want to try to make a decision by December's meeting.
Because I did went through, November.
Yeah, I want to try to make a
I
decision.
love all of them, actually. And they're like,
Yeah.
I don't know, I wasn't happy.
Well, yeah, so so the position's still open, and I was thinking, our meeting is also early next month because of, the holidays. So it's December 15th is our meeting, but I want to make a decision at the December meeting. So these are the packets of all the resumes and applications. Go through them. Try to see who you guys like the best. Bring your ideas back in December. The position's still open for anybody who's watching this. So if you want the clerk position in the village of El Portal, please go and apply. Yeah, that was another thing we spoke about. So I was speaking to Madam Clerk yesterday. We had our transition meeting with Mayor Cabillos, the clerk, and Mayor Manager Alou. And so another thing that I was thinking about, we were just talking, I said, oh, you know what? I said, we may have to, and I'm not saying that we need to make the decision tonight or anything like that, but I was thinking that just another side option, we may have to extend the interim mayor 120 days, because this is what I said, this is just my opinion, I don't know what you guys think about it, but as far as hiring a new clerk in the middle of her trying to set up a special election, and this new clerk might not even know how to do the special. So we might have to extend her 120 days or after the special election, because she knows the process at least, get through the special election, and then have her train the incoming clerk for maybe like 3 weeks or something like that after that.
From my understanding of the charter regarding the vacancies, February 3rd, I believe, is our deadline. In theory, we can make a decision on the clerk at the general council meeting in February, and extend the interim clerk's contract essentially to that February meeting, and see if we can't pull out some kind of a smooth transition.
But remember, if we make
That
a
would be
decision,
after the special election.
if we make a decision in February, then we would have to keep the interim clerk to train her till like March.
I got you. Okay.
Right? So we would have to extend her. So we can extend her in December. We don't have to
Okay.
extend right now. We can contract, we can extend her in December. Yes, Mr. Attorney.
Let me just say in deference to the point that Councilman Urbach made, just for the point of flexibility, if you extended it now and you still your January through until your January meeting, you can see where you are with the special, you can see what happens with qualifying. You can still fill the position in December if you want to, but it would remove the pressure from you and by extending it through and assuming that the interpark is amenable to that. And then if that turns out that you need to go to February, you make that decision. But at least if tonight you extended it until your January meeting, you would get to cast your notice of election, the qualification, and all that.
Well, let me a couple of things, Mr. Attorney, that you might be able to help us on. The first one is that the agenda item says village clerk positions and applications. It doesn't say anything about voting or extension. I don't know if I would have had to, because I didn't add it to the agenda. So can we just come up and vote on that now on the agenda?
I would answer you this way. It's not the greatest option available to you. You need to be careful. But you did say discussion of village clerk, discussion of items. And the action you're taking, if it would be final decision on hiring permanent village clerk, that would be a different issue because it's a matter of greater influence. But to say we're gonna briefly extend the already existing interim contract so the village guarantees that it continues to function. And considering that you still got the December meeting to take action if there's an issue, I think it's not a great stretch to say that you give it sufficient notice to the residents that they're going to be talking about the village clerk position, the options, and the action you're taking is very limited action. So I think it would be appropriate for you if you chose to.
I think everybody probably already know where I'm going with this. So, because it's not on the agenda, the residents didn't know. And December 15th is, essentially around the corner. And I'd rather put it on the December 15th agenda. This is me. I don't know you guys. I'd rather put it on the December 15th agenda. The residents can see it's on there. I'll call it village clerk contract extension. Interim village clerk contract extension. They'll know it's there. I really just do it that way, Mr. Attorney. Thank you very much. My second question, though, is this. Councilperson Urban, which he said correctly, but I'm wondering about this, though, because it does say in our charter that the special election has to be held, within 90 days. So basically, no later than February 3rd. We're talking about the election was November 3rd. But does it count from the election or the day we get sworn in, or tonight?
Swearing in is formal. It's only ceremony.
Okay.
According, as I read the charter, you take office when your successor is elected.
The section for vacancy, I don't know if it was right, it's 2.05. For vacancies, forfeiture of office.
No, it's not a vacancy. It's an election.
Oh, elections is.
But it's one in 2.03.
Yeah, I got it right here.
You have a second section that deals with election procedures.
Is it right under, are you looking under the village council and the mayor and village council? You're talking about 2.02 and then 2.03 election and term of office?
Commencement of term is section, Article 5, section 5.01I. Term of office of any council person will commence upon certification of the results of the election at which interview is elected. I'd like to give you more time if I could, Mayor, but it seems to me that whether there was an election and it's certified on, basically on the third,
Okay.
or whether in this case, you're all deemed elected, I'm afraid that I think it has to be based on the time when, it's not a, for instance, the county commissioners don't take office until 2 weeks after the election. Legislators take office the day of the election.
Okay.
It appears to be that you take office, as I told you before, I believe all of you were actually in office as of November 3rd,
Okay.
even though you weren't formally sworn in. Now, there could be some procedure if that turned out to be absolutely impossible. If it is to the supervisor of elections office, and we could not accommodate you until 2 weeks or 3 weeks after that deadline. There might be some procedures to follow to extend that, but absent doing that, the way it's written, I think it is, it is from November 3rd. More or less February 1st.
Okay.
Maybe maybe February 1st or something, because a couple of those months is really going to take.
All right, so thank you very much, Mr. Attorney. So where we stand, I'll open it back up if you guys have anything you want to say, anybody from the audience has anything you want to say. So where we stand, you guys, right now for tonight, we're talking about just make sure you guys take those applications if you haven't already done so. We already have those emails of those applications. Make sure you guys go through them, start going through them. What we'll do in December, we will put on the agenda to extend the interim village clerk contract, put that on the agenda.
Right.
And in the meantime, village clerk will contact Miami-Dade Election Department and we'll start that process there. And then, so we're looking to choose a new full-time village clerk in the February general meeting. I'm just saying this because I'm going to put this all in my notes later. February general meeting, you guys, we're going to looking to choose a full-time village clerk at the February general meeting. All right. So that's what we're saying tonight. So nothing that had to be voted on. Item H5 didn't have to be voted on. It's just start to get those applications, go over them, and start to try to make your, try to dwindle it down and see where you guys want to kind of choose. For everybody out there, it's still open, you guys. So if you want to apply. Come and apply for the beautiful village clerk. The next item, you guys. Oh, is there anybody from the audience that has anything to say about village clerk position, interim clerk contract? Good. Anything up here, you guys? All right, H6, you guys, is a selection of village committee members. Usually, this is and in the charter it says that this is just done by the mayor, and that the mayor just chooses the village the committee assignments. That was part of the section of the charter, but it's in the charter. And the mayor chooses the village committee assignments, but being who I am, I wanted to not just give you guys committee assignments. I wanted you guys to have a chance to say what you guys really wanted. So what I did here, and there's another thing that I did also. Because in the past, you guys, the way it's been is that we've had 5 people on planning and zoning. My beard sometimes gets in my mouth. We've had 5 people on planning and zoning, and we've only had 3 people on administration and finance. I think administration and finance is just as important, if not more, than planning and zoning. So I'm going to change to 5 people.
Yes.
Right? Especially the other 2 members. It's going to be 5 people in administration and finance. That's all the money that goes to Upper Town. Everybody needs to be involved in that process. All right? So 5 people in administration and finance. Do I have a motion to change administration and finance to 5 people? We'll just do that just for the
I'll make the motion to change the admin and finance committee to 5 members.
Do I have a second for that motion?
Yeah, I'll second.
Madam Clerk, can I please have a roll call? Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Perfect. So that's that. While you guys are looking at that, do you guys already know? I mean, it was on the agenda, so I'm assuming you guys kind of saw it on the agenda, so you kind of got an idea coming in here what committees you would want to chair. Vice Mayor Urbom, we have 6 committees, you guys. There's only 3 of us, so we're gonna all be on every committee.
Right.
Okay. Well, at least until February. Then in February we'll choose. When the 2 members come, I'll open it back up again. We can choose again. But whatever you guys pick now, though, I'll leave you guys the chair of those. But then,
I'll say, unless somebody wants it, I'd like to keep chairing code enforcement.
okay, so you're gonna say code enforcement.
And then I imagine that, not to make assumptions, but I imagine that you, Mayor Nickerson, would be chair of public safety. Is that correct?
Well, I would look, you guys. I'm going to get whatever you guys do, because I'm gonna be so involved in every committee, because we're all gonna be on every committee.
Right.
So, but I want to please you guys. If whatever you want to be chair of, just let me know. Just give me.
I don't see it as
Give me 2 each. Give me 2 each.
Okay,
So your code enforcement, and let me get one from Mr. Farrell and I'll come back.
Public Works, I'm over there.
Public Works, all right. Farrell. What's your second one, Urban?
well, I figure I'll be at least 3 probably, but I'll chair public affairs.
Public affairs. And Farrell, what's your second?
Whoa. I guess, final zone.
Anything? Yeah. Okay, so then I'll chair public safety. What's going on, Chief? Me and you, my brother. I'll chair public safety, and I will chair administration and finance. And the rest, I'll pick the vice chair and stuff later, you guys. All right, and I'll send the email to the clerk with it all. So I'll pick the vice chairs because we're all on all committees. All of us are on all the committees.
And then because of the way we've made the decision, I am now the liaison to the resiliency task force. Is that correct?
Okay, so we're gonna discuss that.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna discuss that. All right, you guys. Is there anybody from the audience that has any questions or comments about the committees? Our committees, we have 6: public safety, code enforcement, public works, planning and zoning, administration and finance, public affairs, public safety. I am the chair of public safety. And I want to do this out in the open also because a lot of times you'll have residents be like, hey, I got a question about this, but I don't even know who the chair is. So, hey, now we're doing it out in the open, okay? Code enforcement is Vice Mayor Urbom. Public Works is Councilperson Perella. Planning and Zoning is Councilperson Perella. And I am the Chair of Administration and Finance. And Councilperson Urbom will do Public Affairs also. Okay? All right, you guys. Any more questions from anybody from up here? So you want to do my paper? You want to do my paper?
No,
It looks like you were filling in the name. Vice Mayor, you good? Okay. The next item, you guys, is anybody from over there, Mr. Attorney, Madam Clerk, Madam Manager, you guys good? All right. If you guys ever want to say anything, just go ahead and jump right in, okay? Next thing, you guys, is the selection of the Miami-Dade County League of Cities Board of Directors as the representative. So the representative for the Miami-Dade County League of Cities Board of Directors is usually always the mayor. Councilperson Urbom, I see you. You might jump in real quick.
And I think that's logical and good. Sounds about right.
I mean, it's usually always the mayor, but I wasn't going to just take it for granted. I wanted to bring it out in the open and bring it to you guys. Would you guys be okay with that? Okay. And we're doing really good things. And you'll hear my mayor report that some of the benefits, you guys, that's coming from the Miami-Dade County League of Cities is really beneficial. And it's something they helped us out over the years. So I'd love to continue to be the representative. Thank you very much for that, you guys. Is there anybody from the audience that has anything they want to say about the board of directors for the Miami-Dade County League of Cities? You guys good? Everybody good? All right. All right. So H8, selection of the tree board. So we need a liaison for the selection of the tree board. This used to be Councilperson Roman. the tree board needs, because we're Tree City USA, we need to have Arbor Day every year. We need to have tree board meetings every year. We need to have one each quarter at least. I believe that, I'm almost certain that this last quarter that we're in now, the tree board hasn't had their fourth quarter meeting. So whoever's going to be the council liaison that is going to head up the tree board, I'll help you out as far as get you information as far as I can. I can't do, I can do everything because, sunshine and stuff like that. But I'll help you out as far as getting the past information from like the notes and minutes from their last meeting. But whoever's going to be the council liaison, you need to set up a meeting before January because we're in the last quarter. So just know that, okay? Because we need to stay on top of our stuff. And whoever does this, you really need to stay on top of your stuff, because if we fail at continue to be a Tree City USA, that would be a shame. Okay? So remember, you're going to do this. You're going to be in charge of Arbor Day also, our Arbor Day event, which kind of is like it goes to public affairs also. It's kind of like the same type of thing. So,
Right.
Does anybody want to do it? Anybody want to do it? I'll do it. Okay, you good with that?
Yes.
All right, we'll do with that. So, Councilperson Urban, Vice Mayor Urban, Vice Mayor Urban will be the council liaison to the tree board. Okay, we'll just do all in favor. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. Hearing none. Very good. H9. So H9 is possible holiday options. Okay. So, you guys, we don't have any lights outside. Like, you know what I mean? It looks dreary outside. So, I had a couple of things that I was thinking about, you all. The first thing this was a while ago, this was cool. So I said, you know what? I said, what would be really, really cool is if we would go and just go to like, a Walmart and everything, buy a whole bunch of lights, and then get like a couple food trucks and a DJ that plays Christmas songs, and have the community come out and just decorate Village Hall. Then the COVID numbers started to go sky high. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to be paying you. They're going to be like, so, yes, Mr.
Just to make sure, Mayor, there has actually been a vote to change the council meeting from the 4th Tuesday to December 15th.
It was last year, I believe we voted. I believe it was last year. For this December. Yeah, we usually do it, so we usually do those things in advance. Like we usually look at the year ahead of time, and that's how we usually do it.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, is there a problem with that date?
No.
Oh, we just
make sure that you actually were planning to put that date in.
No. We used to do that a year in advance. So like, for example, like at this December meeting or in January, we'll look at next year's meeting and we'll make the dates. We'll pick the dates at that time. But Mr. Attorney, we usually don't vote on it though. We usually just come to a consensus as a council. Is that something that we should have been voting on?
Well, what I've seen done in the past is you set the calendar for the year.
Yeah.
And you address those. So that is something you should do. I don't vote the fact that your consensus is good. So then if you have a consensus, it's a very good vote.
Okay. All right. Well, we had a consensus for last year. So what we'll do for next year in the December or the January meeting, we'll open the calendar. We'll look and we'll choose for next year. We'll vote this time. We'll make sure that we put that to the vote. All right. So that was my first idea, you guys, is to have that community event. And I said with the code, I kind of scrapped that. Then I had a couple of other ideas. So my second idea, which I contacted the village manager, was about hiring, a company to come in and decorate. Now, I wanted them to do Village Hall, and I wanted them to do something on the west side. I wanted them to have some, and so I was like, man, what if we come down North Miami, we have the lights going up those huge palm trees, but we found there's no electricity. video that's working. So we can't do that. So we have the option of we can use, and because our last quote, Madam Manager, was 2,000. Because well, first of all, let me say this: it was hard to find a quote under 5,000. Everybody we contacted was like a $5,000 minimum to come out. So I was like, So we did find and just, finagle and Madam Manager with her negotiation tactics, was able to get one of the $5,000 companies down to a couple of thousand dollars. Now, let me also say though that I reached out to the manager and to the chief recently. And I asked the chief how many full-time, part-time police officers. Yeah, remember that? And I asked the manager how many office employees. This is where I stand, guys. I think that we have a choice. Well, we have three choices. We can either, or we can decorate the village, or I think if we can, I think it would be good if we could give the police officers and those who work in the in the village hall like a holiday bonus. Like, we don't have too much money. We can't do too much, but I mean, like $100 each, or $150 each, or something like that. So I think if we're for doing something, we could either make the village look nice, or we can support the people that work for us. Just like a little holiday bonus. We always have the option we could do both, but that would be more money. It would probably be closer to because we were talking about, let's do this real quick. Because Chief, you had, I can pull your email, but it would take a little bit of time. Chief, you had how many full-time, part-time? 8 full-time? 4. It was 9 full, and how much part? 19. And Madam Manager, you had how many office staff you were counting?
I had 5.
Yes. So it's 24 people, you guys. So we're talking about, say if we give everybody what, like 150? That's 36. If we give everybody 100, that's 20. That's 2,400.
I think it makes a significant difference. And I think if we have it anywhere at all, on any type of budget, I'd say 150 is what we need to aim for. If we're going to do that, I think it's a good idea.
Yeah. And you guys would rather do that than decorate the village hall?
Well, as far as the decoration, what I'm thinking is,
the community event still,
right. So I think that, for example, there should be some sort of positive message on the board. We can maybe just wrap the board out here, just with some lights.
Nations from residents.
Right, and then honestly, in terms of spirit of the season and all these types of things, see if we can't pull off something like a food drive or something like that, or something where the residents are still able to come here, participate, and then maybe we can do something like help a local charity or soup kitchen or something like that, and help out that way. And that way you have kind of a message that you're able to promote throughout the weeks, and so everyone's going to be, small gestures are going to go a long way this holiday season. So I don't think we need to necessarily, worry so much about whether or not it's going to be, the size and scale that we want to be. I think if we just aim for something as meaningful as possible, then it'll be a win. So I think it might be too short notice, but I'm sitting there thinking you have some kind of a contest among like the kids in the neighborhood or something where you're basically looking for your positive message. Or each week maybe put out a different message on the board. Do the marquee out front here, just in lights. Keep it like simple that way. encourage residents to, express themselves this holiday season at their homes, decorations and whatnot. And then focus in terms of the output on bonuses. And then maybe if we can get some resident participation and help out local charity, I think that would be a successful holiday season.
Thank you very much for advice, Mayor. Councilman Burr, before I go to you, Madam Manager, when we first started to look into the buying the lights ourselves, remember that was the first idea that we were thinking. Like, they ended up being more expensive than we thought.
Yeah.
Do you remember, like, because when we were looking to buy the lights ourselves to decorate the village, which is why the company would have been better to come with their own stuff. So I'm not against the Christmas bonuses for all the employees and police officers. Are you guys totally against the decoration of the village?
Well, on a large scale, I think yes. I think if we can use the marquee here to be, again, have something in terms of a positive message that people can see, and whether that changes or we pick one and stick with it for 3-4 weeks. I think that with just honestly just lighting up the marquee, just some lights on the marquee, I think that alone will kind of be a signal for everyone to part. As far as being able to do something over on the west side, I mean that's going to be an ongoing issue because we don't have a centrally located civic building. So that will be an ongoing issue in terms of how to be sure we do incorporate all those. But as far as bringing out a company to do full scale, I just don't see that I don't think the residents would. I think that might actually residents be like, wait a minute, what's going on? So, this is 2020, right? So I think if we can kind of just send that signal and provide, even just, again, small gestures that the positivity is going to be there consistently, I think we'll be in good shape.
So I think what we're looking to do, Madam Manager, I'm going to take a vote on the 24 to allow a holiday bonus pay of $150 for the police officers and the employees. But I'm going to first open it up for the audience. But I think what we're looking to do, Madam Manager, is to and I'll join up with you on this, is to get we'll go get some lights. And we'll use our one outlet, and we'll get like 4 extension cords, and we'll just do what we can with that out there. All right, and hopefully, and I feel, because we've been talking on what we're planning on doing in this village and for this village, I feel that next holiday season, our finance will be in a much different place.
Fireworks, the champagne fountain.
Well, hopefully one day, hopefully one day when COVID hopefully is not around next year around this time, because it would be wonderful. Because the first thing that popped in my mind, I was just walking one day, and the first thing that popped in my mind was, I would love to do like a holiday party. All the residents, police officers, police officers can bring their husbands and wives, and like, can't wait for those days to come back now. Because at those community events is when you really start to learn, know your neighbors and stuff like that, so it's important. All right, anybody from the audience want to come up? Yeah, have any ideas about the holiday stuff?
Hello again, Maribel Freestone, 157 Northwest 88th Street. So as the president of the not-for-profit organization, the Women's Club of El Portal, my daughter created Caroling Through the Village 7 years ago. During COVID, we do understand that we will have to be socially distanced, but the 7th anniversary of it, we still want to try and have it. So we still want to try and spread cheer. We think we are going to be calling it caravanning through the village, where parents will be we're not wagoning through, that they're actually taking their own children in their own car in a long parade. And a la like parade style with the birthdays and everything that's been happening, now we have selected areas. So maybe that might spread the cheer during this time and assist in getting people to be more festive about the holiday season. And I would love to have, as the chairperson of the public affairs, if you are having a meeting to come up, to be invited and included in order to assist you. And I know that there are other organizations, but there might be businesses that might be wanting to donate to make the village festival, and getting their name out, maybe with just a simple banner that thanks to these sponsors, that's how we operate. Thanks to these sponsors, these people have made it possible for this community event. So that might be a way of doing it without you having to go to the Home Depot and buy your own lights.
Yeah.
Somebody might want a business write-off. So, thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Bluestone. We appreciate it. We'll be in touch, Ms. Bluestone, as far as or you should contact the vice mayor about your caroling, and in any way the villages can help out. We're willing to help out. All right, you guys. Oh yes, come on up, my brother. That's right. You're always welcome here. Mikasa Sukasa.
John Carpenter, 237 Northeast 86th Street. I'm trying to find another call.
There you go, my brother. You're doing wonderfully already. Starting off right.
Let me just start off by saying I love the idea of having a community event in Decorate. I think obviously that would be irresponsible this year with COVID, but I love the idea going forward, and it might make sense to invest in some lights at some point. My wife Liz and I were just talking, they're usually going to get sales right after Christmas.
That's very true.
So maybe there's something to think about for that.
That's
Maybe
very
go
true.
and look into that. Right afterwards, we get a great deal on some things, and then we can use Decorate the Village going forward. Turn that into a nice tradition where we all get together and have a little festival get together. I think that's an amazing idea. On top of that, love the idea of the bonuses for our essential workers that are here all the time. Again, with COVID, I think that is a nicer gesture this year than just spend a lot of money on lights in advance of the holidays. And finally, we're 1,000,000% in favor of Vice Mayor Herbo's idea of sending some donation box or something to support the charity. Particularly, I think it'd be amazing if we could do something that would support some of our locals here, whether that's people here in El Portal or even neighboring villages, Little River, folks that are unified to help out those that are in need during the holiday season.
Oh yeah, no, I agree with everything. Thank you very much. I agree with everything you said. Wonderful. Just in case nobody understood, El Portal has the smartest residents in Miami-Dade County. Just in case you didn't know, this was a perfect example. Thank you. Thank you very much, my brother. I appreciate it. Council Vice Mayor Urban, we don't have a public affairs committee meeting before January, but we did. Let's talk about that, because in new business, we're going to discuss something about the possible planning and zoning meeting, because there's some stuff coming down the pipe that we might have to do earlier in January. So when we discuss that, let's talk about maybe we could do a public affairs. We might have to do a public affairs.
You could do essentially like a December through February discussion, so it wouldn't take such a long period of time, but we could get the most immediate priorities at least discussed.
Yeah.
And that way, maybe that could be added as an agenda item that could be accomplished. We wouldn't be meeting until then, right?
Yeah, we'll see, because as far as public affairs is going to assist as much as possible with the caroling, and public affairs wants to assist with doing food drive or something like that.
Well, something like an agenda item. I'll send a quick agenda item with a guideline for how long I believe it would occupy and how much time, and then see if that's something you would consider adding to this.
Because what we could do is, and like I said, we could talk about this week, because there's something else that in new business where this is gonna come up. What we could do is, you guys, we don't have to have a special, like, public affairs meeting to where it's an additional. What we could do is, we could take the January meeting, and because it's holiday season, there's a lot of things that we might wanna do, and just move it to like December something. We can move our public affairs meeting up in like, like the beginning of December, and just don't have one in January. So we're not like doing extra, we're just like moving one up just for that one time. But we can talk about that, like I said, in new business, there's something coming up, where it regards that.
Okay, so in that event, then we would need to cover, essentially present through April. We might not meet meaningfully until March. So yeah, so we would need to get things ironed out through April, because then in March, then we would be planning for May, June, and beyond. Which is
budget meeting, right?
Yeah, mid-year.
right. So actually taking the public affairs committee meeting out of January might open up space for the mid-year budget in January.
All right, we'll
What's going
see.
on?
We'll see, because it might be easier just to put an agenda item in December to discuss like the public affairs for the holidays,
But that would need to happen very early in December.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah. Which is
We'll
okay.
we'll get to it.
Okay.
Is there anybody else, you guys, for the holiday pay options before I go to the roll call, motion second and roll call? Anybody from the audience? No? Hearing none? Anybody from over here? No? Hearing none? All right, you guys. So I'm going to be looking for a motion. We need a motion to pay our police officers and employees and essential workers holiday bonus of $150 apiece. I need a motion for that? And in a second.
I'll make a motion to adopt the holiday pay bonus as outlined by the mayor.
Do we have a second? Yeah, I'll second. All right, so we have a motion, we have a second to pay police officers, office employees, and all of our essential workers here in El Portal a holiday bonus of $150. Madam Clerk, may I please have a roll call? Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. We're going to go into the resolutions next, you guys. Right before I go into the resolution, let me congratulate our interim attorney Gill. I know you were sworn in a little bit earlier today. We appreciate you coming down here, sworn in as a state representative in Tallahassee. He had a crazy day. He was last week or a couple of weeks ago. He said, your meeting is the same day as I get sworn in Tallahassee. He said, but look, this is what I'm gonna do. He said, I'm gonna get the first flight out of Tallahassee. So he got sworn in, ran to the airport, got on the plane, but the plane he had to catch, it wasn't coming straight to Miami. So he's in Tallahassee, had to fly to Carolinas. Wow. To get an exchange plane from the Carolinas, then fly to Miami, hop in a taxi or Uber. Tap in the taxi. He said he was going to get a taxi too. We were on the phone to discuss this like a week or so ago. He said he was going to get a taxi. I said, why did you tell me to get an Uber? You going to get a taxi? I was like, will you be able to find a taxi? Will you find one? But he jumped in a taxi and he got here. So we appreciate that. And congratulations, Attorney Geller, on your state representative. Appreciate it. All right, you guys, moving into the resolution. So the first resolution is Resolution 2020-39. This is the Sustainability and Resiliency Appointment. This is a resolution, I'll read into the record. A resolution of the Village Council of El Portal, Florida, appointing members of the El Portal Sustainability and Resiliency Task Force and providing for incorporation of recitals and providing for an effective date. All right, you guys, so in this resolution, there's two reasons why we're doing this resolution. The first reason is because we had a change from one of the original individuals who were on the resolution. They couldn't do it anymore for personal reasons. Therefore, the resolution members, the task force, you guys, they voted to add a new member, who is Ms. Sandra Valencia. So this would add her as that fifth person to Sustainability and Resiliency Task Force. Also, in the resolution that we have here, we adjusted it to where, and this is why we decided to do this, and the whole task force decided to kind of do this adjustment. Well, they recommended it and they agreed with it. I actually brought it up and they agreed with it, which is to adjust the language, because the language, the way it was in the original resolution, said that the liaison to the task force from the village council was always the vice mayor. So I said, what if in the future, like the vice mayor of El Catal, what if they're like a former cop and they want to start like a public safety, some type of task force? Or what if they, specialize in like engineering or something different? What if they don't want to be, the liaison to the Sustainability and Resiliency Task Force? So we changed to say that the liaison to Sustainability and Resiliency Task Force could be the mayor, vice mayor, or a council person. Okay? So those are the only thing we basically changed for this resolution. Later on in new business, we're going to assign the liaison, vice mayor, so we'll talk about that there. But this is just to basically adopt a resolution to add that member to the task force, because we had a member that discontinued. That's the basic main thing about this is. Before I ask for a motion, before I ask for a second, is there anybody from the audience that has any comments or questions? Yeah. Anybody up here? Vice Mayor Urban, Councilperson Corella, any questions or comments about this resolution? No. May I ask for a motion to pass Resolution 2020-39?
I'll make the motion to pass Resolution 2020-39.
Do I have a second? I'll second. Madam Clerk, may I please have a roll call? Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. Appreciate it. The next resolution, Madam Manager, you're going to want to talk on this one, speak on this one, is Resolution 2020-40. This is the Public Works Truck F-150. Take care of my sustainability and resiliency. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 3:30. We have a meeting. You guys take care. Have a great night. Thank you. This is the Resolution 2020-40 Public Works Truck for F-150 bid. And Madam Manager, you can take it away. You want to come to the mic? I think we could hear you, but I don't know. Did you want to stay there, or did you want to stay over there?
I don't know. I don't mind. I present a resolution to our interim village attorney. I'm asking that you authorize me to utilize a piggyback contract with Florida Sheriff's Association to purchase a vehicle to replace the public works truck that has died. It's been out of commission for about 4 weeks now, and we are utilizing whatever means necessary to clean these parks. And sadly, that means someone's car or a code enforcement car would have to live with them at this point. So we do need to replace the vehicle. This is unbudgeted, as you know. But we have had many conversations with our CFO to find funds. Identified with an appropriation for $15,000 from our public works account and another $10,000 from the state gas tax revenue. Our CFO did do some pricing for an F-150 Ford pickup truck and found that the Florida Sheriff's Association, the general price would be about $22,000, but we will have to maybe paint it, put seals on it, and take the lights on it. So we're asking for $25,000 in that appropriation, and also, if there is an opportunity, I am further authorized to explore finding a lower price for the vehicle from a local vendor. But I would do it through the police and I would get, so, you can consider that quickly to do something.
Okay, let me, before we move on, I'm gonna open it up to you guys. Let me read this into the record. Let me just read the resolution, into the record. And I have one, question that kind of like, I think it's a general question also. All right, the resolution 2024, you got Public Works Truck Ford F-150 bid. A resolution of the mayor and village council of the village of El Portal, Miami-Dade County, Florida, authorizing the village manager to purchase a Ford F-150 truck from the Sheriff's Association Cooperative Purchasing Program for use by the Public Works Department, providing for incorporation of recitals, providing for an effective date. So my question is, and I think it's a general question that everybody would probably is probably wondering, what's the benefit of going through the Sheriff's Association Cooperative Purchasing Program?
Because it's already, it's a procurement instrument that we can utilize. Things are already vetted and authorized entities that we would then have to go through that procurement process ourselves. So piggyback is certainly allowed in the instance of purchasing equipment necessary for public work.
Now, right there,
Yeah, so I know also that resident Kirk had emailed in what his concern. I wanted to address that. I don't have the email right in front of me, but I know at this point he was saying, you know, with how strapped we are, should we be spending money on this truck? And it's a valid question. For me personally, forgive me, what year, do we have a year of a truck, or is it a range?
It would be a 2019 or 2020.
Okay.
Whatever is available through the,
Okay.
that sort of.
So I can tell you that even a basic model in those years, with, you know, even with more miles, there's still going to be more than essentially 22,000 that the sheriffs are offering. So
No, sir, that was actually the price that our CFO was giving from Florida.
yeah.
So he did give that.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I think it's a perfectly reasonable price. I would be shocked if we would find something in the local market anywhere close to that price. So I think the price is good. And then in terms of do we spend this money on this vehicle right now, I think this has been one of our most critical issues for a long time. And so, you know, I worked for these two women years ago, and they were two of the smartest people I'd ever worked for. And anytime something broke, they didn't think, they never thought twice. And these were not spin people, you know. But when something broke, they fixed it, and they fixed it at a premium, to be perfectly honest. But they did that so that they would not have to think about it again, or that it wouldn't interrupt their business again. So I know that we lost Officer King recently, and I imagine that the vehicle had something to do with that. You know, competitive pay. I mean, we were so lucky to have him for the time we did, and so I see this as a similar issue in terms of, are we going to be able to hold on to quality people if we don't have essentially quality equipment for them to be using? And so for me, I think it's a no-brainer that we have to figure out something about this truck. It sounds like I know that Madam Manager, you've spent months and months and months diligently calling, researching, looking up, reporting, calling, researching, reporting. And so I think this sounds like if the CFO is saying that we can reach this, then I think we need to make whatever effort possible to accomplish that. Because I think with the year of truck we're talking about, the quality we're talking about, and I know that the chief has, you know, let us know in the past regarding the police fleet, the cost of a poorly maintained or aging fleet will be far greater than the pain that we're going to experience right now. But we will at least have a vehicle that we can plan for having, and will maintain its quality through simple maintenance. So, so while I do wish the CFO was here, to be perfectly honest, we've been over this and over this and over this, so it's not entirely necessary. But the price sounds right to me. The 3,000 additional sounds reasonable for. Hopefully, we can come in a little bit under on that, but but at least it's there so we can get it done right. I think it would be a good feeling to see a truck around the village operating, and even with a seat on it would be awesome. So, so if that's what will help us, bring the public works productivity up to where we want it to be, then I'm 100% in favor of it. And I'm comfortable with the amount of diligence that's been done to find the pricing and the truck, and I think this is about as good as we're going to hope to get, and as close as we're going to get to an ideal situation.
Thank you very much, Vice Mayor. Councilor
I agree, totally. As we, the manager, and I have been talking about it, I'm also, was kind of like Mr. Kurt, whether we need to spend that amount of money on a truck, and why not getting a used truck? And I've been searching, I've been going online and searching everywhere, and honestly, to get something decent with low mileage and whatever, it's $19,000. So, like Andrew said, there's no brainer to get a truck, brand new truck, pretty much with warranty and everything for $22,000 or under, if it could be possible. So it's a pickup truck. They're not cheap, and yet, even though we don't have, it's probably a square mile, what we have. So we need something that's reliable, and I'm over it.
Even just the day after this last event we had, over the weekend with the weather, I'm sitting there thinking, I know a lot of residents were letting us know different areas that were, even just to have a pickup truck that next day, we could have immediately started beautifying the village. Again, with some, small tasks.
So what I was going through the quote here, if it's on the description, I didn't understand all these add-ons, whether it's the gray line or the white, whether those are options or those add-ons are standard, or just like, so some things over there that don't necessarily need to be on the truck, or passing the truck needs to have. So I don't know if that is something that.
We're looking for just the basics. We
Okay.
want to put a seal on it, and we do put lights on it.
Right.
Outside of that, it need not be,
Not a computer mounted thing, or no weather mask or tech or none of that stuff.
And that's what I'm discussing, it's presented to the rest of the council. A lead for the pickup truck is not an option. That would be more suitable for the police, fleet, and even the code enforcement department. The pickup truck has been needed because it's a work truck and it's used for hauling and dumping and loading. So we need something that's sturdy, and even our CFO said we need something that's going to be useful and for at least 8 to 10 years of the life. So buying new is prevalent, or buying as close to new as we can would be the preference, because we already got an old truck. So more money and for breakdown in a year of having to just continue to vicious cycle that we need to get out of. I appreciate it.
Anybody from the audience have any comments, questions about this item? Attorney Geller, you good? Madam Clerk, you're on. Do I have a motion to pass Resolution 2020-40, Public Works Truck F-150?
I will make the motion to pass Resolution 2020-40.
Thank you very much. Moved by Vice Mayor Urban. Do I have a second?
Yeah, I'll say it.
Second by Councilperson Perella. Madam Clerk, may I please have a roll call?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you very much, Madam Manager, for all your work. We're moving down to the ordinance, you guys. We already did Resolution I-3/2020-41. We did that. So we're down to Ordinance 2020-16. Mr. Mark Jean, you might want to get ready to come up in a second if possible. So this right here is the first reading. Ordinances, you guys have to have 2 readings, just so everybody knows. Ordinances have to have 2 readings to go into effect. So this is the first reading. There will have to be a second reading at another full council meeting, another general council meeting. This right here is 2020-16 building fee adjustment ordinance first reading. This is an ordinance of the Village of Elbertal, of the Village Council of the Village of Elbertal Florida, amending the building fee rates, approving the new building department fee schedule per the fee comparison study, providing for incorporation of recitals, providing for codification, providing for conflicts, repealer, severability, and an effective date. And I think he's cooking everything up right now. And let me just say while he's doing that, you guys, and there goes Mr. Shop. How you doing back there? What's going on? We're always kept safe here by our great police officers here in the village. Good to see you. So let me just say, you guys, that we had a town hall on this. We had a special committee meeting on this. We had a council meeting on this. We've gone through this a few times already. And this, like I said, this is the first reading. Ordinances need 2 readings, so there'll be more time to discuss this even after this, if this passes like it is. There'll be more time to discuss this and, you know, and adjust or whatever you want to do, things before the second reading. So.
Yeah, the only thing is like, Mr. First time.
Go ahead, Councilperson Perrella, go ahead, say what you want.
Okay.
Go ahead, say what you want to say.
Oh, yeah, the only complaint that, I guess, on the Mr. Kirk's, email was, the sheet, the report, the sheet wasn't actually, it was cut out some parts, so they couldn't, you know, see the whole, description or, on the email they sent for the agenda.
Maybe we have to send things, like turn the sheet sideways so we get it right, you know? Like how we do the budget,
Yeah,
Well, forget if you're in this, but basically what he was saying was, concern was that if the fees for residents, they were gonna have to increase as well. There, I got one. Stop for a second.
I think that was actually because I said something about, you know, being recommended as,
Martin.
Jim, verified it was basically what any construction over 500,000 or whatever was, whether it was residential or commercial, about the fees and all of that. Because we're talking about being more for commercial and not residential, and you clarify that, no, he's not, you know, not meaning that it was actually for any amount over, you know, $1 million or something like that.
The example.
Right.
Talking to the microphone.
Yeah, the example I gave in the previous meeting was for the commercial projects with $2 million.
Right. As an example, now, so I found that it's November 15th that you're looking for, but
I'll take a picture.
so what he's saying is, should we be lowering fees for residents if they want homeowners to do things like inspection, painting, getting gazebos, trellises, pergolas, roofing, fencing, windows, etc. You know, again, we're going back to the reason we're doing this. I think he said 1984 was the last time this was updated.
Yeah, from the
Right.
Unicode 1984, October 9th, 1984.
And most of these new fees that are being proposed are still nominal. Most of them are nominal. So I understand his concern. You know, that we could be adversely affecting our desire, which is to as far as from a fee standpoint, bring us into the 21st century and catch up with that lag, so that again, this is not necessarily a pure like revenue stream for the village. We're really trying to cover our building department costs. Really, is the goal here.
To modernize it, right?
And so while I understand, you know, his concern, I don't believe that these nominal increases are going to prevent anyone or encourage someone to not do the proper permitting. I think one of our biggest challenges really continues to be our outreach to the residents so that they know where to go, who to talk to when they want to do something. Most of the questions usually are fairly basic that should be answered, easily enough by the building department in terms of, do I need a permit for, different types of work. So, but as far as the fees go, I just don't see that the changes that you're proposing are radical by any stretch of the imagination. And still, for a resident who's not doing a $2 million renovation, they're just, doing a simple kind of work. I don't believe that any of these fee increases will prohibit anybody from completing that work. So, before you present, I just want to say again, thank you for all of your work going through this line by line, and then the history that you've given us, and then the comparisons to other municipalities also. I feel that we have had an incredible amount of information to be able to work with, and this is a good thing for us going forward, I think. So, yeah, definitely.
Go ahead, issues. Oh, okay.
So I'm just,
Yeah, you can just breathe that.
good evening, everyone.
Say your name and address for the record.
My name is Mark Gene. I'm the building official, come from the town building department. And I want to thank you for
Can you say your address for the record?
my address, okay, it's 3825 East Lake Terrace, Miramar, Florida, 332.
Thank you.
So, the reason I'm proposing the increase of fees is to basically catch up with the cost, the inflation, basically to bring the permit fees up to date. While going through the numbers, I saw that there were kind of a lag from the time it was presented from the date of October 1984. Basically, we're running into a situation where there's like a deficiency in the fees in terms of the revenue versus the expenditure. And this is why the fees increased. Because the last time we were increased in 1984, and for example, we have immediate problem where we still have our problems, and we don't have enough, or we can't cover the expense of going to digitizing plans. We have actual plans, some plans from 1930, and it will be an additional cost to digitize. By increasing the fees, we can reduce the cost for the modernize. We already implementing electronic plan review where residents can upload the plans. We try to curb the paper usage to keep our file stationary. We have more space with paper. With the increase of fees, it would help to modernize the building department and also personnel. Currently, we had in the past only one permit clerk taking care of the whole front. That permit clerk does business licenses, lease searches, records requests, and at the same time, taking phone calls from residents and issuing permits. So, if the fees were to increase, hopefully in the near future, we would have a little extra to help with the manpower. So, this is why.
I think one of the bigger things is that, when you say, they haven't been changed since like 1984, I think that jumps out. They haven't been changed since 1984, and also how much we compare to the surrounding communities. Yeah, so we really appreciate all your work. Is there anybody from the council that has anything they want to add? Again, this is the first reading, you guys. Will have to be a second reading at the next, which will be the December meeting, I suppose. The December meeting would be the second reading. We always need 2 readings to pass an ordinance to put it into effect. So there has to be another reading.
Yeah, I do have a question, just to have it clear, the new proposed, amounts for fees for building permits. Like before, it was the first 500,000, it was $100. Now it's more, reflected as a percentage. That's 0.03% or 3. Oh, so exactly. So instead of $100, it would be 120 for the first 500,000. Pretty much, if you do the 3% of
$3 for
every 100. So it's like, and most of the fees went up by double, right? But considering from 1984 to 2020, so whatever we had, some fees are like, instead of 120, now it's 250 or stuff like that. It's not like Anders was saying, it's not outrageous, it's not something radical or something.
Yeah, what Councilman Spurlow is trying to say is that from 1984 till now, he said you're basically like a lot of people are double. He said, and it's been so long from 1984 to 2020. He said that even things being double is not a lot. Yeah, right. Yeah, but he said like it's still not a lot, even if it's double, it's still not a lot. That's what he's trying to say.
Right. And also, one of the concerns was actually the hourly rate. I know I went through it, but I forgot about the structural engineer plan reviews and fees. That it says 120 an hour. So is that a reasonable? Does it has a limit? Whether it actually shouldn't take more than an hour to read the plans, or it could take 3 hours and then it's $360 when it's something that could be right. So that is that. See, what we have in yellow over here, the proposed, is something that's going to be added to the what's existing, or if that's going to over.
The proposal for not have that case here.
Right.
When structural engineer plan
right.
124 hours. So this column is what would be in effect.
Right, I understand that, but I'm saying, is that a reasonable, or is that is the right, as by your experience and stuff, people is, I don't want also people to think like, okay, so this is like like now they can take like 3 hours to read the plans or whatever and charge 360, when in reality it could be just, an hour, thing, and then,
that 120 was compared to
Miami Shores, right? Yeah.
Currently now charge.
Speaking to the mic for me, Mr. Lee.
Currently now we would charge $60, for the structural review. But that in reality is low compared to, let's say, if you have, let's say, a window, would be no more than an hour. But on larger projects, it would go a little bit. It might be, say, a day's work or even less on, let's say, a high rise.
Maybe exactly, in a commercial,
Like on a typical residential window, I don't see nothing more than 1 hour,
Right, and there's something that could be more specific when it comes to that, in residential or something, or cap, put a cap, it shouldn't be more than, I don't know, I just see it like it's an open, blank, check, like Kurt said. Yeah, I mean, because, again, it says $120 per hour, but who knows how, that's something that could actually be done in less than an hour, or it's just gonna get extended to charge more. So it doesn't look clear, and maybe for, commercial will apply because like you said, it could take days to read, plans and all of that, but for residential, it should be like a cap. I don't know if it's something that could be, done, if it's legal, like kind of like doing residential, not commercial, or vice versa. But that's the only, concern I have there. Mm-hmm. Vice Mayor, I think you know that.
Specifically about the structural engineer plan review fee, it's a good example also, I think, of the effort you made to clean up a lot of our current under the structural engineer plan review fee is essentially 2 paragraphs of like, look, this happens and that happens and that happens and this happens. And so, as far as the concern that there would be, overbilling, I think that comes down to our ability to hire properly and have staff that follow, I imagine there's, ethics that govern engineering just as much as there's ethics that govern any other industry. So I feel that as long as we are diligent in our hiring processes, that really should not become an issue. And if it does, I think it probably would present itself fairly quickly. Maybe I don't have enough experience, I guess, to know historically what sticker shock looks like. Again, this is a structural engineer plan review. So this is somebody who is doing a full roof replacement. Is that correct?
Well, roofing, let's say,
I'm saying from their structural, they're doing something with the framing of the house,
framing
the foundation,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So this isn't somebody just doing, a basic remodel. This specific fee is someone who knows they need an engineer to come in and review it. So I don't believe that maybe I'm with you that maybe we do want to stipulate that for residential job there would be a cap, but at the same time I don't know that it would be necessary because I feel like it's obviously within standards in terms of the fee that we're charging, and outside of having an ongoing issue with with improper billing within the department, I just don't. I don't know that we need to. I really enjoy, Mr. Jean, how much work you did to streamline all of these, and so I guess there could be a couple of situations where maybe we need to fatten it back up again and not streamline it. But I didn't see that as to me, I don't see that necessarily as an issue. I don't anticipate for that specific fee, and that's one of the larger ones, the structural engineering hourly fee. Most of the other fees are very clear; they're either a percentage or they're a flat fee or nominal. I certainly do understand the concern that is the resident going to be upset or worried, or could it actually happen where they're being treated the same as the commercial contractor when all they're trying to do is put in a bathroom or something. So I would consider something like that in terms of a distinction on that one specific item. But again, going through all of this, it just is. It's very heartening to see all the. I mean, you really touched on absolutely everything, and so I think no matter what we do in the end, there's certainly going to be 1 or 2 sticking points, and then there's going to be always some unique situation that arises that just falls between every crack that that has ever been put up there. So, but yeah, I hear what you're saying, that Councilperson Pearl. I'd be open to some sort of distinction and cap on that one specific item. But overall, really, it really just feels good to go through this document and see how much more productive we're going to be and efficient we're going to be going into the future. So, There you go, that's all I got, sorry.
And one thing I wanted to ask, Vice Mayor, when a resident or just, just a regular person just goes through this, they can predict the fees as well.
Exactly.
Streamline with, the percentages versus, the paper that for the first 500 is this amount.
Right.
So with this one, it's basically, you can predict what your current fees will be for in terms of the building.
Yeah, so our next step after this would be to make it digestible for residents to go online to the website, for example, and kind of have an idea. I mean, ultimately, that's where we want to go, I think. Because if people can look up those answers online, then they don't have to call in, not necessarily take time of someone answering. Anyway, this is all very good.
Yeah, that's why I was asking you if it be, based on your experience, if it's something that's, chart, doing it like that, $120 an hour, that is something that it could be, it's reasonable, because, it's not gonna take more than that for residential, some residents doing like 10 windows or 14 windows or whatever that is, and review the plans. I know the plans are done by an architect or an engineer or whatever, and so there should be, correct. So it shouldn't take more than an hour to read them, right? That's basically what you're suggesting, that it shouldn't.
If there's a plan that say, it's not being presented well, it goes to several iterations.
Exactly.
It might be another story, but on suitable conditions, and have
We can,
window schedule, just product approval, everything is clear possible. We could put a cap on it if you want, residential, commercial.
Yeah. So thank you, guys. If there's anything that you want, reach out to the manager, and and you and the manager and Mr. Jean can, if there's changes that you want to make, that you want to see there before the second reading, just reach out. All right. Anything else from Vice Mayor? You good? Councilman Furley? You good? Anything from the audience? Come on. Say your name and address for the record. I don't know if is that one on? Yeah, there you go. Everything's working.
Hi, everybody. I'm A.R. Barrington. I'm with 471 and 495 Northeast 83rd Street, the Cavista project. Good to see all of you again. For clarification, would these new construction rates apply to our multifamily residential project?
It would be,
We were speaking to the mic for us.
oh, sorry. It would be, like whenever they take effect, whatever, projects would be coming in, it would be applied to it, that's when it'll be, effective.
At the time the permit is issued, or at the time we are applying for a process?
At the time you're applying for the project, for the, building permit. Building permit applications presented to the building department.
Okay, so for example, if we had submitted a building application today, the new fee rate would not apply.
No, it's whenever it is.
And this is remember, I'm sorry, this is the first reading. It doesn't pass today, so we still need to go through a second reading and then approve them. So.
Okay, so but just to clarify, if for our specific project or any multifamily residential project coming in, if we get a process number prior to the final approval of these rates, we would be charged under the current rate.
If you provide all the submitted documents to the building department, whatever fees that are active at that point would be applied to your project. Yes, that's correct.
Okay, and then, but moving forward, these new construction fees, they do apply to multifamily residential. I'm just asking for the clarification between commercial and industrial. Does commercial include multifamily residential?
Sorry,
So essentially, specifically, we're talking about an apartment building.
okay.
Is that a commercial project in your definition here?
Commercial, yeah, commercial residential, yes, commercial property.
Okay, yeah, and I apologize if we missed it. This is the first time that we had seen this, and so we had missed some of the other presentations. Our apologies for letting us slip through the cracks, but I would also just like to participate in seeing the research. My understanding, this 3% fee, that is exorbitantly higher than what other municipalities would charge. For City of Miami, for example, would be 3/4, 2/3%.
Did you, in terms for Miami Shores, did you, because I copied, exactly what Miami Shores had, did you also?
No, I haven't seen what Miami Shores, but, you know, you can take a look at it, but, and then just the other comment, the way it reads now,
And also, I can, I have the comparison for, Miami Shores Village, City of Miami Springs, Indian Creek, and, the comparison, Village of Elmwood now.
okay,
Mr. Jean, I'm sorry, I think his question is the first one I asked you about the percentage. That is not 3%, it's 0.3% or something like that, or because you have 3.0%, and that would be like, 500,000 is $1,200 instead of 120 that would be charged. That was my question, yes.
3% of
Right.
the job cost.
Exactly.
Yeah, the job cost.
That's a huge
So
number.
is it 3% or 0.3%?
3%.
So we went from $100 to $1,200 on a $0 to $500,000 job. I mean, construction
Okay,
for the fees.
for every $100, $3 is charged. So
Got it.
3%.
Okay.
And we were charging, or we currently charge, $10 on every 500, so that's effectively 2%. So we're going from 2% to 3%.
3%, yeah.
A 50% increase.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, just, I apologize for being late in the game, but representing the large commercial project, and we're here at the table, my only ask would be if you could postpone the reading until we could have another discussion about it. We would love to be a party to this decision and the discussion, the calculation. You know, we're here at the table, it's been kind of our position, we've been working with El Portal for years, from the first charrette and all of our zoning meetings and discussing impact fees and planning. As you know, we've had multiple calls over the last month. We are prepared to submit our plans tomorrow. But if this is going to take effect and affect our project, would like you to table this vote until we have at least a chance to discuss it with the village in more detail and be able to give our reaction to it.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Jean. That is,
I believe all the research, the comparison from Miami Shores, Miami Springs, I have the actual, building permit fees, I think, wherever would be.
I just wanted to ask you, it looks like City of Miami Springs is even, am I reading that as 4%? Miami Shores Village essentially is what we modeled our proposed fees off of. Miami Shores, it looks like, the same, right? And then City of Miami Springs, there's a little complicated, but for $1 estimated cost of fractional part, it says 4 cents. Okay, so 4 cents, not so, okay.
Okay, this is what you're looking at, is it new construction?
Yes, new construction or initial fee, yes.
I have here, no, I have $1 of estimated cost of fraction thereof equals 0.03, 3 cents estimated cost. Oh, is that Indian Creek? The Indian Creek is the 4%.
No, I think I'm getting lost in Miami Springs thing. I'm gonna be wrong on that.
If I could just add one more detail on, in comparison with those other municipalities, I kind of see not a huge difference, right, if we're talking about a house, you know, to build a $500,000 or $1 million house. But when you're proposing, you know, a $50 million project, these differences become extremely significant. And so you'll see in other municipalities that have more large-scale commercial projects, these rates are scaled. So, you know, okay, great, it's 3% from, you know, 10,000 to $1 million. But then when you go from, you know, 1 to 2, it steps down. And if you're going from 20 to 30, it steps down. And, you know, Miami Shores, does Miami Shores have a commercial project the scale of ours? Does Indian Creek? I don't think so. So I'm not sure those are great comparisons if you're talking about a specific zoning designation of the density that we're dealing with.
All right. Mr. Attorney Geller?
Just to be clear on this very question, and as we discussed,
Attorney Geller, can you come to the mic?
tonight is first reading,
Yeah, it's a nice first reading, yeah.
so whether you have any amendments in second reading or postpone second reading or anything else, it does not take effect. If you vote on it and pass it tonight, it's only preliminary, so if you want to have the opportunity to speak with the gentleman of your entity, you have every opportunity to do that before second reading, which itself could be postponed.
Took the word out. That's what I was going to say. Let's just pass it. I mean, we have time between, you know, you guys should reach out and, you know, see if there's anything that you guys want to do. Reach out to the manager also and see if there's anything you guys want to do before second reading. What we can do, like he said, you know, if it seems that before, you know, December 15th, that there's more things that we might want to adjust, we can hold up the second reading until January or February or something. All right.
Second reading is currently scheduled for December 15th.
Well, it's not scheduled. Well,
It's not scheduled
right now for anything. But
Yeah.
I was looking to put it on December 15th. Okay. But you know, when we reach out to the building department, you know, the manager, and they'll talk to me and they'll say, hey, you know, we're not ready yet. You know, maybe on the agenda you might want to hold it. You know, we'll talk to you.
Well, I'll reach out to the village manager and just ask that before we do have a second reading, we would have a chance to get together and be able to discuss it.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
If you guys meet, I'll be on that meeting also. Bad manager, I want to be there also.
Mayor Nicholson, what I can do, I can compare,
Do a comparison?
that have large projects, let's say, City of Miami, Sunny Isles,
And see what they have.
and see what they compare.
That'd be perfect.
Basically, to focus on larger projects.
Yeah, that'd be perfect. That's great. That'd be perfect.
To give more homework.
That'd be perfect. We appreciate you, Mr. G. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Is there anything else from the audience? Seeing none, is there anything from up here on the council, Vice Mayor, Councilperson Terrell? You good? All right, may I please have a motion for ordinance 2020-16 building fee adjustment, first reading?
I'll make a motion to advance ordinance 2020-16 to a second reading.
Thank you very much. Been moved by Vice Mayor Erbaum. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilperson Perrella. Madam Clerk, may I please have a roll call on ordinance 2020-16?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. Again, this is first reading. There will be a second reading at a future council meeting, and after the second reading, then we'll go into effect. All right, so right now, you guys want to move on to the reports. Madam Manager, the first report is yours.
Thank you very much. I'm going to keep the village first because we're midway through the month and there's still so many things happening from I just wanted everyone to know. From the emergency management team, we dealt with flood incident in Madison and members of our community. Been a tight-knit group, speaking quite frequently during the days that led up to the flooding incident from the weekend of November 7th and then the day after. So we left the communication process right now and things are working out. I mean, we have some communication with the state and the county. We're trying to access resources to the pump and mosquito mitigation, but we're low on the totem pole when it comes to the bigger events throughout the county. But we're still active and we're getting the messages out to the community, which is fantastic. We're happy with that. And welcome to our emergency management team, Mayor Nicholson. We do have a new building clerk. His name is Jonathan Garcia. He started on last week. He is new to the village of El Patel, but not to building permitting. He was the building permit clerk at the city of Stuart, Florida, as well as before that, Lauderdale Lake. So we're welcoming him to Garcia and we also have a new website that we will be unveiling shortly. We're working on the web post right now and trying to get a faster post, but it looks fantastic, and I think that it's going to be something we'll all be proud to utilize and to share with the community. The little library was unveiled, the new little library was unveiled 2 weeks ago. We also recognition ceremony for Mayor Cabillo for the 2020 Top Cop of the Year, who is Paul Battaglia. We're really excited for him, and it was well deserved. And so we did have a little ceremony unveiling here. The new little library is on the west side of the building here, and I invite you all to come and take a look and take a book and leave a book. Also, the top lot remains closed because we are having some issues with the cleaning that we would need to do to comply with the CDC and county mandate. So because of that, we just don't feel it's a safe place for our residents and their children presently. We want to get through this next wave and see what comes from that. But the cleaning that is required, we just can't take. We don't have the staff and the manpower or the equipment for that. So we're going to revisit it as time, as we get through this wave, and hopefully that will be soon. But I'm still keeping my eye on it, and I know that residents are eager to get back into the park. And we are still transitioning the waste can receptacle, but Coastal is hanging in there with us. They're doing what they're supposed to do, and we will continue to address those, change sometimes there are hiccups, but we're working it all out. I hope that everyone will be happy with our new solid waste removal provider, and that we can move forward. So we'll be working on that contract with our new interim attorney, Joe Geller, and we hope will be smoother in the coming weeks. And for now, that concludes my report. I will have my full report on the village website by Tuesday, November 24th.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Thank you very much, Madam Manager. Moving on, you guys, to the mayor report. For this report, you guys, I'm going to keep it pretty brief. First thing I want to say is, at first, last week when I started thinking about today, the first thing that I was going to do was I was going to invite all the organizations out that we had for El Patel. But then when the COVID numbers started to go up, I was like, no, I'm not going to do that because, there's so many organizations here in El Patel, the residents can be a part of, Women's Club, Sustainability, Tree Board, Crime Watch, Mayor's Cabinet, there's so many or whatever. So, what I am going to do in meetings coming up, I will be able to, especially, with doing the hybrid meetings, I will, take probably each meeting, have like one of those groups, like a leader from one of those groups or a member from one of those groups come on and just talk about what's going on, what they have coming up and things like that. I'm going to do that every meeting. I have a different group, and then I'll rotate, probably the group you see the first time will probably be on 5 meetings down the line again or something like that. So that residents continue to see these groups these organizations that we have in the village on a continued basis, not just one time and then forget about them for the next 2 years type of thing, you know? Because like we'll have a crime watch meeting or something like that, we'll be hyped up, and then we won't be talking about crime watch for the next 2 years, you know what I'm saying? So I want to have just a recurring memory, remembrance of all the groups that we have. Another thing, you guys, I want to continue to do the newsletter. It's going to be a different way. It's going to be, first of all the ideas I have, I want to be inclusive with you guys also. All ideas I have, I'm going to bring to you guys first. Before, I'll put it together, and then when it's done, I'll bring it to you guys and kind of show you guys like how it's going to look or whatever. The first one that I do want to do, I hadn't even told the chief about this. Look at you, going to look up now. It's all good. No, you're good, chief. You're doing good. The first thing that I do want to do, probably like right after the holidays in January, the first newsletter that I do want to put together is I want to do, because we're always talking about community policing, So I want to do a newsletter where none of us are in it. None of us are in it. Nobody from staff. I want to do a newsletter where it's all of our police officers. The cover says community police or something like that, and then the cover is the chief. And every time you turn the page, it's one of our police officers, a picture, and a little bio. So then everybody, once that newsletter goes out, everybody in the community can see all of our police officers, full-time, part-timers. They can see the faces, see the names, a little bio. You know what I mean? So then when they see them, it's like they feel, more like they know them. You know what I mean? And so I think that'd be good. I think we should definitely start off with the all police officer newsletter. Chief on the front, and every time you turn the page, you see another police officer, one of our police officers, a little bio. And I think that would be great for the first newsletter. All right? So I just think things like that, those kind of be a change I want to make. There was also another idea that I had. I want to, in one of the future newsletters, I want to have, like I was saying with the organization, I want to have a newsletter just showing all of our organizations. You know what I mean? All of our organizations, what they're about, things like that. So the residents can see that newsletter. They'll know all the organizations they can join. I want to do a newsletter in the future, all of the small business owners in El Portal. I want to see if we can do something like that. You know what I'm saying? Have a list of all of our small business owners, and like they can have, a half a page or something like that about the business and what they do, what the business is about, and the contact information, so that, the money that we spend in El Portal, we might, be able to keep it here, and just, might be people like, hey, well, I need somebody to do that. I know, we have people that do that here in our village. So just things like that will be kind of like, the way I'm looking to do a newsletter starting in January. You guys, on the 20th, which is, Friday? On the 20th, we are going to have, this is another thing that when you're part of the Miami-Dade League of Cities, this is something else, kind of like the things they do for the community and things like that. So, every year we get our free turkeys, you guys. We get that from the Miami-Dade League of Cities. So this Friday, what I'm going to have, I'm already discussing with the manager, and now that we're going to have the truck, it's going to be good. But I'm already discussing with the manager to send the public works guy, because we can get, I think we have 15 or 20 turkeys or something like that we're able to pick up. So if you guys, have any, residents, especially elderly residents and things like that, you guys can come by and pick up those chickens. I believe it's either 15 or 20. I have to look. I believe someone's telling me it's 15, you guys. If that's the case, it would be like 5 basically, or something like that. If you pick up 5 residents that, you can reach out, that, they feel like they might need that, might be in need of a turkey. Like I said, I try to focus on elderly residents because, they really don't leave their house and things like that. And a lot of times people, our elderly residents, they're on fixed incomes, and therefore, any little bit of help helps. So we'll be picking those up on Friday. I'll get right with the manager. We'll be picking those up on Friday. It's in 2 different locations from 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. It's at the City Hall in Miami. That's the City Hall in Coconut Grove, Miami City Hall. And then from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m., which I think the one we'll probably make use of, is at the Betty T. Ferguson building in Miami Market. And so, I'll be here. I might even go, if I get a chance, I'll go with him So my neighbor they can see my face, they'll know it's for me. And then we'll do that. So what I'm thinking about is, so anytime from Friday evening on, Councilperson Barella and Mr. Vice Mayor, from Friday evening on, the turkeys will be here. I'll try to put as many in the freezer and fridge as possible. I think what we might have to do, might have to just buy like a big cooler and fill it up. I mean, I don't want to go bad. Is there enough room, you think, for all? Yeah, we'll probably just need some ice or whatever. But what I'm trying to say is, if you guys can, they'll be here. Your turkeys will be here. So pick them up, when you get a chance, and deliver them to the individuals, because it's better. It's better if you can locate those individuals that you're going to deliver them to and deliver it to them early. You don't have to wait till like the day before Thanksgiving. You can deliver it to them days before Thanksgiving. They can put it in their freezer, because everybody probably has space in their freezer for one turkey. But for us to keep 20 turkeys here, 15 turkeys here is going to be hard for us. So it's easier to find those individuals and deliver those turkeys. So anytime Friday afternoon going on, you guys, the quicker you guys can get them, the better. You guys, tomorrow we have the skateboard happy day. You guys see about that? There's like there's food trucks and stuff at the skate park. That's tomorrow. They call it the happy day. That's tomorrow, the 18th. It starts at I want to say 4 o'clock. I think it starts at 4. I want to say 4. I want to say it starts at 4 o'clock, you guys. So it's basically like a little celebration. They call it the happy day. They're going to have food trucks and things like that. Because they're going to do I believe they're going to do a big mural, like an art mural at the skate park. Mm-hmm. So they want they're going to have like a little party and things like that for it. So I believe it starts at 4. So it's telling me 4 o'clock. I think I read 4 o'clock somewhere. So if you want to be a part of that, I think I'm going to try to go out there and do that. So if you want to be a part of that, that's at 4 o'clock, you guys. Everybody's welcome. All the residents are welcome. I think everybody like that for that. I'm going to end up reaching out to ESAC, the ESAC at Horace Mann. I'm going to have a meeting with the principal and go through the ESAC committee. I remember the ESAC committee. We used to have a police officer used to sit on the ESAC committee. We'll have to see what we're going to do about that. Okay. Are you still on? Do you know what's going on with that, Sean?
Haven't been to a meeting in a while, so.
Okay. Well, we'll see what's up with that. Do you still want to be a part of it?
Sure.
Okay. Good. That's great. What else? It's pretty much it. You got the CARES Act. We have to see. This is another thing talking about the League of Cities and how they help benefit us here in El Portal, you guys. The CARES Act. That was something with everything that was going on. The federal government was going to give money to smaller governments, and unfortunately, our federal government at that time, it was recently, our federal government said that only certain municipalities that had over a certain population were qualified with getting the money to help with COVID. It was things like that or whatever. And so they said for South Florida, for populated South Florida, this is the only place that qualified for money was Miami-Dade County. That's it. But Miami-Dade League of Cities, County League of Cities, this is the county thing. What they did was they pushed to have that money the county got, and to take that money and have that money distributed amongst the other municipalities throughout the city. The mayor who was in at that time, the county mayor, he refused to do so. But the new Miami-Dade County Mayor, Levine Cava, she said that, and I was in a meeting with her, with the Mayor's Coalition in the Miami-Dade Cities. We were in a meeting last week, and she said that she would be moving to open that money up for the municipalities. But it's crazy because the federal government said the only thing that qualified was Miami-Dade County as a whole, and so that money the county got was supposed to be just for the county, but they're going to be nice and spread out throughout the other municipalities. So that's kind of how it goes. Attorney Geller, you want to add to that? Oh, you good? That's basically it, you guys. And the problem with that is that the money had to be spent by December 31st. So we're gonna see what Mayor, Miami-Dade County Mayor Powell, the kind of that's pretty much it, you guys. Everything else is the way it is. Just kind of keep in mind for December. You'll see I have a lot of things on the I'm planning for December. We won't talk about that right now. There'll be a lot of things for December. You guys don't have to have plans for December. Okay. The next the next thing that is coming up is the village attorney report. How are we doing, Mr. Interim Attorney? How have you been? Congratulations again on getting sworn in as state rep.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll try to keep this brief also. There are a few items. So, first of all, my first meeting back, so I'd like to thank the Mayor, the Vice Mayor, and Council for bringing me back here. I'm enjoying the work and hope we can move us forward. So, a couple items. I did have a lengthy talk with the representative of the PDA to see about the issue coming up. Basically, we'd like to see if there's something we can do to sort of smooth the curve with the PDA so we don't have this big issue just next year. And the manager and I have been in touch. We're going to have a conference about that with the chief so we can move that forward. I have a good relationship with the PDA, and I'm optimistic we can find a way to address those issues in a little bit of a smoother glide path than what's laid out for us. The manager and I also have been talking about what's going on with getting that stormwater done with Pinoni. We had a lengthy conversation with one of the representatives of the village's typical engineer of record, Fred Smith. I spoke with Steve Smith. They're making a proposal that we can consider as an alternative, and then we're going to circle back to Pinoni and see if we can get a resolution with them. There is an ongoing matter involving former acting chief Huffnagel that's being handled for us by the League of Cities, so I'll coordinate with them as to what we're doing. I did speak with our special counsel and the counsel for former clerk Denise Jacoby. We hope to be able to bring something to the December meeting for you to consider.
I was going to mention that, so I'm glad you mentioned that. That was going to be part of my thing about December. Thank you.
And then, of course, we just got probably the most significant item dollar-wise. We got the information from FEMA, so it's good that we're going to get at least some money, but we have to see if we're going to get more money. And the issue would be if we have paid money that we're not going to be reimbursed. That's an issue that we're going to need to address with the contractor that asked us to pay all that money and said, oh, this will all be reimbursed. So we will pursue that, but we're going to get information. The decision on that, of course, will be up to you. So there's, and then there's, again, as the manager mentioned, we've got the final contract that we've been waiting for. So there are some other things, but those are the highlights. We're moving forward on all those fronts. We want to get those addressed aggressively and be sure that we give you a range of options where there's decisions that need to be made, and you'll hear more about that as we move forward, and some of that will be on the agenda. So that's my report. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Like I said, I appreciate you. Go ahead, Patrick. Like I said, I appreciate you mentioning the Denise Jacoby situation. I actually have that. You guys already have the December agenda like almost done, and I have that. That's why when I was going through my report, I said after dates for December. I said, well, I won't say that for now. I said I'll save it for later. But I already have the December agenda almost done, and that was one of the main things.
And with that,
thank you very much. Along with the interim attorney contract will be also, we're hoping to get that on December also. I have that on my list for December. We're looking at December. We're going to get down to business though. Hey, we're doing pretty good, you guys. I went the presentations last from 7 to 8 because I'm gonna see when we sit down to actually start the meeting process, like what time it was like 8:03. So we're like 2 hours in. You know, when we started at 7, it'd be like 9 something right now. So we're pretty good. We're almost done. Next, you guys, we have unfinished business. Any unfinished business general orders? Unfinished business. We're good. New business. Okay, so new business. The first thing that we have here, we have to appoint. This is the part from before, Vice Mayor. we have to appoint a council liaison to sustainability and resiliency task force. Like, so it used to be, just the vice mayor, but like I said, like we adjusted, like the task force wanted to adjust it, because they said, well, what if we get a vice mayor that has different interests? So we said, okay. So we adjusted it, so it could be any one of us. It could be you, Vice Mayor. I love the task force myself too. But it could be, I love the sustainability and resiliency task force, but, you know, I'm open to anything. Vice Mayor, what say you?
Well, I mean, if that's the case, for me to kind of get up on the curve with the tree board, and then get a couple of affairs kick-started, if you're good with it, I mean.
Yeah, I'm good with it. I mean, I'm good with it. I'm good. And if you read the resolution, that we just passed, like those individuals that are there, that assignment is a 1-year thing.
Right.
And so after that 1 year, you know, we'll decide if they want to stay. They can say, you know, because after that year, they might say that. So what we can also do after that year, if you feel like we want to tackle it, then, you know what I'm saying, we could.
I will say that if you have any concerns about your ability to put time on task for that because of all the, you know, what's on your plate, then I am open to being the liaison for the resiliency task force. But if you are good with it and you feel like you're in a good spot, then that's fine with me too.
I appreciate that, Mr. Vice Mayor, because I am on like a lot more meetings than I was before. and we'll see how it goes. But yeah, for right now, though, I'm good. You know, I love sustainability resiliency task force. I love everything they do. I'm kind of bonded with them. They're like, we're like a big family there. So I would like to stay for now, if it's okay with you, Vice Mayor. And like I said, we can put, like, this is the item. So if, let's say, if in April we want to change, we just add it to the agenda and we take a vote. You know what I mean? If March, like whatever. If May we want to change, we can add it to the agenda, take a vote. We just add the same item. So that's the beauty of government freedom. But yeah, I'd love to keep that and be the liaison to the council for the Sustainability Resilience Task Force. We'll do it all in favor, aye or nay. It's not really a big deal for a huge. Well, no, it actually is though, because it's in the resolution. Do I have a motion to keep the mayor as the liaison for the Sustainability and Resiliency Task Force?
I'll make a motion to maintain Mayor Nickerson as the liaison to the Sustainability and Resiliency Task Force.
Do I have a second?
I'll say it.
Madam Clerk, can I have a roll call on that, please?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. All right, thank you very much, Madam Clerk. All right, so new business, so L2. Okay, you guys. I don't know. Did you guys get the email from a guy named Gus?
Yes, I did.
About, okay, so who? Madam Manager, can you come up for a second also? Because I probably need your help in the memory of like kind of how things happen.
Do we have any input from Custodian?
So I've been in the email, I can email you guys because you guys were, you know, on the council. So I've been in constant contact with these individuals, and for Service on every email that we've been on. The village manager's been on every email. For Service hasn't really said one thing either way. I know that part of the problem was that they were saying that they submitted things a while ago.
Yes.
Was that, and then they were saying that it wasn't like processed or whatever, and it was something like that. And I think because they were trying to get to, cause I don't know, cause I remember mentioning like maybe it was the turnover with like.
I think it was the change with the building department.
The change of the
That
building.
was during the time when they were submitting things.
They were
Yeah,
submitting.
Going on with the building.
It was in June when they started submitting the paperwork or something like that. They bought the house in February.
Yeah.
Right. And so we didn't catch wind of it until more than, because then they started, sending it to us and not just to her. And so the building clerk, emails were then established after, the former building clerk left. Or, not coming, we had to have the temporary.
Yeah.
Place. So
On and off,
right? But, no, we did not, the survey is not really in yet.
Well, I'm sorry. Yeah, since I read the email, it's, you know, I actually contacted, Serbia, the planning, and, you know, they expressed their willingness to, like, you know, proceed with this, with it, you know, so they could have everything ready, if they decide to move this for December instead of January. And at the beginning, when, you know, they were talking about, special meetings probably at for P&Z, just to, you know, do that one item. I wasn't in favor of it, but if you're gonna move everything from January to December, and somehow ease, you know, these individuals, issues right now, so that'll be fine. And again, for Serbia, I was talking to Juan, and they're very pleased with the plans and everything. They're beautiful, and I have to congratulate actually the homeowners on the baby and on the plans of the house, because it's stunning. So it's a matter of, like, if it was something that it was, you know, it's circumstances. It's what happened. We're in the middle of a pandemic. You know, we were having some issues with the building perk, and, you know, transitions here and there. So, you know, it's unfortunate, but it's what happened. So,
Well, let me just say, Chairperson, because you are the chair of planning and zoning, it would come through your committee. So, you just say, Chairperson, Perella, that, you know, before you were the planning, before you chose this, you know, before we chose these committee assignments, I was, you know, that's when I was going through with emails and stuff like that. And so that's what I said. I said that if we could move that meeting up, it wouldn't be a special meeting, because I said that what we could do is just move everything we have coming up to that meeting. So we're not meeting for just one thing, and then in January we just don't have a planning and zoning meeting.
that's right.
So that's how I was
the problem with that. They can have everything ready. As a matter of fact, they told me they've been working on it. Just, you know, they have no.
Because I think what they were concerned, because, like, they do have a newborn and things like that. I think what they were concerned was that we wait for January, because it's January, then they have to wait for the January full council to you know, because it goes from committee to council to pass it. And then it would be to, like, February, so it's like month. But if we can do like a planning and zoning in December sometime, anytime before the full council meeting. It could be 2 days before the full council meeting for all, you know. If we do a planning and zoning before December 15th, then December 15th, we pass it, they can get started right away. You don't have to wait till, like, you know, after February, you know what I'm saying, before it starts. So you're the chair of planning and zoning. We don't have to vote on this. We can just decide right now. We don't have to decide a date. We can, you know, we can do it through the clerk. But if you guys want to look at your schedule right now, remember it has to be before December 15th, because December 15th is the council meeting. The only other thing that we can do, if you guys don't want to do, like, have to come here 2 days, what we could do is, well, no, because if we're doing a real planning and zoning meeting and not just one item, we can't do it before the council meeting. We should do it a whole other day. So any day before the 15th, you guys, I mean, any day from now to the 15th, really, but in December, we have to give Pacific some time to get their stuff together. So any day close to the 15th, it could be the 14th, you know, the 10th, is it the 14th or the 14th?
Tuesday, maybe the 4th, the 8th. Is that enough time on the other side of the holiday break? I mean, that's 2 weeks. It's 2 weeks after Thanksgiving, a week and a half after Thanksgiving. That's a week before the general council meeting.
What if we,
does it have to go Tuesday?
No, it could be any day.
Oh, okay.
yeah, whatever day you guys want. I mean, I'm like any day.
Friday the 4th of December.
No, I think it's too soon though, because we want to give Pacific enough time to get everything they have to get together. So we want to go as close to the 15th as possible. Okay, I'm thinking. So I'm thinking like either the week of, like the 10th, maybe like Thursday the 10th or something like that. No, Thursday. Thursday we can't.
Friday the 11th. Monday, Friday the 11th.
I have no problem with Friday. I don't know about everybody else though. I don't know how you guys, because we never have meetings on Friday, so I don't know about the Serbia.
There's Hanukkah,
Friday 11th first. Oh, okay.
No, I'm saying, my calendar says
I'm thinking,
sunset on the 10th of the evening. Okay.
well, he can't do Thursday the 10th. The chairperson can't do Thursday the 10th. What about
the night.
what about the 9th or the 8th? The 8th or the 9th?
I'm good with either the 8th or the 9th.
Yeah. What about Tuesday the 8th or Wednesday the 9th, you guys? Y'all want to stick with Tuesdays? It's like our government days. Y'all want to stick Tuesday? We used to Tuesday. Stick with Tuesday. Comfort everyone. Tuesday the 8th. You guys want to start at 7, so it gives you some time to get home. Or 7's good. Tuesday the 8th at 7. You want to start early? You want to start earlier? It gives people time to like get here and
Well, I know
Is 6:30 better for you, family? 7, right? Tuesday at 7.
but I'm just thinking of how, I don't know how, you're here,
Oh, you saying it could be a long night because things only can go long.
Okay.
6:35. All right, Tuesday the 8th at 6:30, guys. That'll be our planning and zoning meeting. Thank you, Mr. Chair. We appreciate it. By tomorrow, I'll fill out the rest of this list and we'll see what the vice chair planning and zoning is. I'll probably make it early. Probably the vice mayor will be vice chair. But thank you very much, you guys. And I'm sure they will appreciate that. I think you guys is pretty much it for that. Is there anything else, you guys? Is this good and welfare? Vice Mayor, you did have something you wanted to say. Good and welfare.
Just for good welfare, I just wanted to talk super briefly about code enforcement. And just as we were talking about with the truck issue earlier, the vehicle has been a big issue for code enforcement as well. The loss of Officer King is a big loss. I just want to review all the things that he was working on in the short time he was here. That is a backlog of 50 cases, more or less, cataloging and records keeping. So there was almost no evidence gathering prior to his arrival, and so he was bringing us up to speed, or up to getting us up to pace on having the process of gathering evidence, so we could be effective with the code enforcement, digitizing records, and then he had, Sherwood specific issues, North End specific issues, and then I know that contractors working on weekends was a top priority from the beginning. Trying to get the word of mouth among the contractors to know that we're not available, that they're going to be able to do that, and it's going to be a challenge, but that would be helpful. Maintenance issues on properties, he said it was the biggest issue. It shouldn't be surprising. And then so first place would be contractors working on weekends, second would be maintenance issues on residential properties, and third would be contractors working without permits. So contractors working on weekends and contractors working without permits listed as two separate issues. Updating codes, I just want to remind everyone that we are in the process of trying to get 4 or so ordinances out there. I spoke with the interim attorney, and there is some legislation that may or may not affect what we do regarding short-term rentals. So January, late January, moving in beyond that is when we may have information coming out of Tallahassee that will give us better guidance on what kind of ordinance we should have for short-term rentals. So I was hoping to have something done by January on that. It looks like it's probably going to be 60 days beyond that, but I would recommend going forward with the with the short-term rental ordinance until we have more clear direction from Tallahassee what they're gonna do coming up here just in January. And then, Officer King identified that we had essentially a 2-year gap in enforcement. And that would be kind of like what your backlog is, going back 2 years, right? And so we're catching up with that. And then the vehicle was just adamantly a significant problem to the efficiency and productivity of our code enforcement. So whoever we have coming in next, we have some things to do from our end to make sure that they can be as productive as possible. So I just want to say again that it's really a big loss for the lost Officer King. I'm sure with his skills he had other opportunity that we just can't compete with. But we really he helped us out a lot, and he helped us identify our needs, and so I'm hoping that we can get some things done. The truck from Public Works is a big step in the right direction. So there you go. That's all I got.
Thank you very much, Vice Mayor. You did help us out a lot, and really missed a lot. Vice Mayor, Village Manager, for the code enforcement, I remember we discussed a couple of things, but I don't know what the final plan is.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Irvong, for those words about code enforcement, because I agree, and I was remiss with not mentioning that Officer King departed for greener pastures, and we wish him the very best. But yeah, we had some problems that we just can't compete with other bigger municipalities who can get better opportunities. So he is missed already. He says he will come back and help on his day off, which is really, really alert. But I have an ad out now in Indeed as well as on the village website, and we are looking to replace him, but finding a qualified, once you've had someone who's very qualified, we don't want to go back to a place where we're not doing anything we can't do. So right now just don't have a good, bunch of resumes. I'm still going to pursue that. I want to do a good hire and get someone who can really assist us. But in the meantime, our police officers are stepping up again, as they've done before in the past, and Chief Magnuson put out a directive for that. And then even our public works staffer is attempting to help out a bit where he can on just pointing out some issues that he did ride through for a couple of days with him. Just his probably areas to try to help address that. So we're going to identify a new candidate. I'll keep you all apprised of that. But I'm looking for good staff members. And so we've done that well with the new building clerk. I'm hoping that we'll have a good one.
Yeah, hopefully. It's something that, it's, starting off as a council, we don't want the village to be, to start to, look messed up because, the code enforcement officers, that's really important that we stay on top of that. We don't want that coming at us like this. So, Attorney, we don't. Okay, you guys, besides that, remember, Vice Mayor, Irvong, for anything that you want to put, or both of you guys, for anything that you want, I'm just saying for you, because I remember for public affairs, you want to put like a line item for December for public affairs, so you can start to get some stuff moving. If you want to work with Ms. Fruitstone, with the Women's Club, with the Caroline, and if you want to do anything with like a food drive and stuff like that, we'll do that line item in December. Anything you want added to the December agenda, just get it to the clerk whenever you get a chance, all right? Besides that, you guys, I don't think I have anything else. I think that's pretty much it. Is there any other good and welfare? Anybody else with good and welfare? No, we're good. Okay. Councilperson Irvong, let me just say this we're on record. On October 28th, in your email, October 28th, Amari, Councilperson Roman, she sent an email to all of us on October 28th about the tree board. She had like the last minutes of the tree board. It was okay, good. That'll get you started. And so just reach out to, Kristen or Adam Old or one of them and just be like, hey, you guys, we got to do a meeting before January, so, let's get on that type of thing. All right, that's pretty much it for me. Pretty much it for everybody else. You guys good? Everybody good? We good? All right, you guys. Do I have a motion to adjourn our first council meeting? Our first council meeting of this new first council. Do I have a motion to adjourn the regular council meeting for Tuesday, November 17th?
Motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Thank you very much. The regular council meeting for Tuesday, November 17th, 2020 is adjourned at 10:33 p.m. Woo, that was a good one. I used the new gavel. That American video game. Look at that. That was loud one. Yeah. Appreciate it. Hey, you guys, let's get a full moon. Can one of you guys take a picture of all of us real quick right here?
Absolutely.
Because we don't even got no picture of all of us. We all look good up there.
Take a picture. Okay. Yeah.
Where's the example? Let's put